Hello, this is Mike Lively, and we're coming to the end of Chapter 2 of Professional Papervision, and we've been looking at this interactive cube. And when you click on it, you can see it changes color and it stopped, and you click on it, it starts again. And click on it, it stops, and click on it, it goes again. And we've been talking about how this cube is actually built and created in Papervision. So let's take a look at the code right now. So where we left off last time was the materials list. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. And I'm just going to use my Control F trick and just type in materials list. And that'll take me down to materials list. Let's go again. And here's my materials list. And as I remarked earlier, is you got to make sure these names are set as front, back, left, right, top, and bottom. But you know, you can actually go and reprogram this materials list to do anything you want with it. And let's determine what a materials list is. So I'm going to roll over, click on this materials list, take us to that material list class. And what we find out is that material list is actually a dictionary. So if you're familiar with PHP, you're very familiar with dictionaries. And all it really does is associates a name with a parameter. Now, in typical arrays, what you do, you typically have an array, and the name is associated with a number, or the number is associated with a number. It's that position in the array. But sometimes you need the ability to call basically with a keyword. And what the dictionary gives you the ability to do is call with a keyword. So it's nothing really fancy. And go to this materials list and create your own materials list and learn how the dictionary works, because it's used a lot in Papervision, and you'll be using it in other programs. So just want to cover that so you get a feel for the idea of a materials list and the idea of a dictionary. And we'll be talking about dictionaries as we move on through this series. Okay, let's go back to our cube. So essentially, you store all your materials in the dictionary, and they're pulled out and put on the cube as you need them. And right here in this particular part of the program, you can see you got this little get material by name, and you're actually grabbing these colors and you're actually putting them onto your cube. So when you click, for example, you actually do that. So now let's go back to the next part of the program. We're going to scroll up here. And as we said, there were actually three classes or three methods we're looking at. Initiate PV3D, we just did that. Initiate listeners and initiate start renderers. So let's take a look now at initiate listeners. Let's roll over, click on that, and go to our listeners. And in this particular case, there's only one listener that I have here, and that is the click listener. And we're going to talk more about this in detail. I'm going to go into how this is actually developed and built. But really all you do is you've actually now taken your cube and you've made it interactive by adding a listener to it. And this interactive stuff is generic to Papervision. You don't see this in the Flash engine. So if I roll over and click on that, I'll actually go to that particular class that creates that interactivity. And once again, as I've mentioned in the earlier video, you've got to start clicking on these classes and seeing how this is built so you can rebuild it. And you don't get stuck like a lot of people do. They hit this barrier, they don't know what to do. Go in and reprogram it so it'll work. And if you want to know what kind of click interactions you get, you can see, just go right to the class and you can see, well, I got a mouse click, and I've got a double click, and I got a mouse over, and I got a mouse out. So there's tons of interactivity that you can have. And let me warn you that not all of these work. So you just have to test them one at a time. But you see mouse press, mouse release. So there's potential to have a lot of different interactivities. And if you come up with one in your head, if you know how to go to the class and reprogram it, you'll be able to do that. So let's go back to where we were. So we've added that click ability. So what happens is when you click, it actually goes to this class myClick. So I'm actually going to roll over and click on that. And there's myClick right there. And what myClick does is keeping count of the number of clicks that I've done. Because remember, I said there were 4 states. And so basically, depending on what state you're in, you're going to actually go and perform that particular item. So right here, let me just go through some of these states. So you can see you're using this modula to basically determine what state you're in. So actually, there are 4 possibilities. So use modula 4. And when you've clicked once, what it's going to do is assign that first color. And then it's going to stop you, but when you click the third time, it's going to assign the new color. And then you click again and you'll go. So basically that's how the program goes. Very easy to run. It's just one more method, and that's to start rendering. And that's pretty easy. Let's roll over and click on that. And what you do with the start rendering is you pretty much just use a on enter frame, and you start this tick business. So let's go to the on render tick, roll over and click on that. And then the on-render tick, all you're really doing is initiating your scene, your camera, and your view. And you just basically iterate through that every frame. And as your object moves around, it actually changes its position. So now let's run the program one more time so you can take a look at it. So here we are, and we click, and it changes color and pauses. Click again, and it goes. Click, it changes color and pauses. Click again, and it goes. So that's pretty much all there is to the program, and we're going to keep moving through the book. We're heading toward the end here, and it's very exciting because in Chapter 3 we're going to start working with polygons. So see you next time. This was Mike Lively. Thanks for listening.